What's up guys, welcome to a new video. New channel car. I'm pretty sure I haven't actually made a video specifically about this car yet, but I probably have mentioned it in passing and probably shown it. So once we sold the Tough Stato, we actually replaced it with a black VX Calais. Pretty cool little Calais. I quite like it, it's pretty cool. I'll show you it later on as we go, but I was dailying it for a little while. Obviously at the moment now, due to being diagnosed with epilepsy, I'm not allowed to drive for 6 months. So Rex was then driving around for a little while, but unfortunately, 4L Slippy is doing 4L Slippy things and we needed a new gearbox. So what we've done at the moment is dragged up, this is the old VX Berliner V8 wagon, which we used as a donor to convert a GU Patrol quite some years ago. It's got quite low Ks on it. I think it only had about 160 Ks on the clock. And from what we understand, and from the guy that bought it to us to use as a donor, who owned it for quite a while, we don't think this car's particularly been abused. So we are hoping that this 4L60 out of it is good. We're hoping it's a good gearbox because our plan is to try and just swap it straight into the Calais. So what this video is going to be essentially is a nice cheap small cam kit for the Calais, as well as a hopefully healthy gearbox. We've got a mod stock converter there to go in as well to suit this little cam, and hopefully we can do a nice little street combo. Not chasing massive numbers, but just a nice little combo, little tri-wise, a few other little things, and make it just a nice little street car. So that's what we're at. So the boys have just pulled the gearbox out of this thing, and yeah. I'm really hoping we just whack it straight in the Calais and be done with it and don't have to actually touch the gearbox, but time will tell. It is a 4L60, so. Oh, look at this, guys. We might have got lucky. Hey, could even be a Rico box. That'd be flapping handy. Like, obviously it's been sitting for a while, but like I said, it's fairly low Ks, so I'm hoping it's pretty healthy and we can just bing, bang, shebang, go. Righto, boys and girls, here is the big girl. She's covered in dust because it's been sitting for a while now, but as you can see, black VX Calais, nice dark tint, the tint's nice. The body is, as most of these freaking older Commodores, is a bit rough. A few patches of clear that are going a bit funny in the roof. Spoiler clear is getting a bit funny. You know, there's a few spots like that. This guard, starting to get a lot of this crazy cracking and stuff, same with the rear bumper. So yeah, I had all intentions of keeping it, which is why I was tossing up putting a manual in it, but given my driving situation and what's going on, probably gonna finish this off and put it up for sale and see if we can get good money for it. It was payment for a job pretty much is how we ended up with it. So, you know, if we can do a few things, use some of the stuff we've got, get decent money for it, well then happy days. Just like we did with Tough Stato. You know, it was good fun, it was awesome to do. This one won't be quite as serious, but it is a Calais, which I feel like probably makes it a little bit more sought after. But as much as the exterior is getting a bit rough, the interior is pretty good. It's filthy at the moment, but the interior is all quite clean and nice. It's got a pretty crazy roof lining, but at least it doesn't need a roof lining, so I'll take it. But yeah, it's got a pretty wild sound system in it as well. Like, it's got 6x9s in the parcel tray, and it's all pretty doofed out, so it's pretty nuts. And I'll take you through the plan with it, but like I said, I've got coilovers and wheels for it, which come at a later episode. At the moment, we just want to focus on getting it fixed and sorted. But yeah, a bit later on, we'll do coilovers and we'll do new wheels as well, which I'm really excited for. At the moment, it's just bog stockery dockery. I think it's got about 350,000 Ks on it, so moderately high Ks, but obviously with everything we're going to be doing to the engine, and then this gearbox, which is much lower Ks, and potentially recode as well, all the running gear is going to be pretty schmicko. So yeah, plan obviously, new gearbox. I've got a mod stock converter, which is about 1800 RPM. I ended up accidentally overstocking on a Crocams 1270, which is a 223, 228, 580, 584 on a 114. So it's not a super aggressive cam, just a nice little street cam, which is the plan. We've got an old set of just good beehive, like conical valve springs, single springs, which will go on the heads. I've got some heads there that I did get done for Tough Stato before we decided to put the 799s on it, so they're already decked, already valve serviced, ready to go. We just got to put the springs on the heads and do the valve stem seals and stuff. Got some Genie tri-wire extractors here that came off a car. Can't remember exactly what car they came off, but you know, just some little tri-wires. It's all you really need with this little cam on a 5.7 with 241 heads. And then I did buy a new catback from Black Ops Performance, so we'll have a complete new catback with those Genie extractors. And then ideally I'd like to get a VCM OTR, just haven't got one yet. but I can worry about that later on. We'll put the stock intake on it for now, but that's the plan with it. Obviously, all that stuff that I just said, along with all of the other regular stuff we do for one of our cam kits, new gaskets, new head bolts, just gonna get new GM hardware, new cam backing plate, new rear main plate, you know, all of that regular stuff that we normally do as well, just to make sure this engine's tip-top shape. But yeah, basically, we ended up with one of those 1270s as an extra, and I thought it'd be a great little just baby cam for starters for this thing aspirated with a set of 241s. But it'd also be a really good cam profile to boost, given that it's a fairly wide lobe separation and not really aggressive duration, which is why I was tossing up whether to just put a manual in this thing and boost it with this cam, which you could do if you wanted to, but I just don't think that I will end up bothering, just because without being able to drive for 6 months, we'll just put it together, tune it, make some decent power, put it on the coilovers and new wheels, get it looking schmicko, and see if we can sell it off, I think. And yeah, I've got the adventurer wagon out there, so I've already got another daily lined up for when this goes, which is why this is all happening. So yeah, that's pretty much how we ended up in this position. So anyway, we'll get into it. So due to the fact that the current 4L60 in the car doesn't have a third gear, we're obviously not going to be able to get any pre-runs on the car. So, but we already know that bog stock, they make somewhere around that 260 to 270 horsepower-ish. So we know that at least. Usually they're around there. We've had a couple of freaks, but that's generally what they're around in a bog stock form. So we'll just go off that as a basis. Righto guys, first things first, a big wash down and degrease of this engine bay. Yuck. Disgusting. It's pretty disgusting under the cover. Been a long time since this old girl had a decent wash. So nobody likes working on a filthy engine, so give it a big wash down before it comes out. Looks like a whole new car. Alright guys, so we had all these grand plans for the old Calais, but what happened was, essentially we were doing this to sell it. Now we did the Stato, tough Stato, that worked out pretty well because we got that car real cheap. Now I did some sums on, even though most of the gear we were going to be using for this was leftover stuff, same as the Stato, just trying to use up leftover stuff, things that we can use that's good condition but you can't really get others to pay for. It's a bit different if you're doing it in a car and you're selling a car. It's just honest what it is. People aren't, you know, paying for the work. They're just, the car is what it is and they can pay for it or they can't. So that's why it works out that way. Unfortunately, for what we paid for this, for what it was worth as payment to us, it owed us too much. And I did the sums and we were not even going to break even. We were going to have to get too much for it. If the body was tidy, it would have been worth doing. But because of the damage to the body and the fact that we were not about to pay to have the body done, because then we get super overcommitted, it just wasn't worth doing. We weren't going to be able to get top dollar for it because of the bit of damage that we have to the body. So we decided not to. So anyway, we pulled an X-Force 2.5-inch catback exhaust off another car that we're doing, which is also going to be for sale, which we're already way overcommitted to. So we figured if we're already super overcommitted to a car, we may as well just put all of our good stuff on that one. That way, if it doesn't sell, we can keep it. We've still got all the good stuff in that. And this one, we just put the new gearbox in it. We decided to leave the engine alone. Didn't bother putting the mod stock converter in it, just put a stock converter back in it. And just use the 2.5-inch X-Force off the other one to put onto this, so that we'll at least have a full exhaust that comes all the way to the back, and the new Black Ops Performance 3-inch catback exhaust we put on the other one that we're already overcommitted to. So I'll show you that one another day. It's going to be really nice when it's finished, but it's going to owe us heaps of money, so we may even end up just keeping it. It's the full, complete Bo-built engine. Bo built the entire engine himself, and it sounds wicked. So we still haven't had it on the dyno yet, but it sounds good. It's got a nice little comp cam, stumper cam, 222, 224 in it, and a mod stock converter and stuff. It's a nice little VTSS, but we'll just see if we get the money back for that one. But anyway, decided not to overcommit to this one. But anyway, I've had it up for sale for a little while. I've had a few inquiries, but not a lot. I'm been really surprised how hard it is to actually sell LS powered cars at the moment, considering how much LS engines are going for on their own. So did manage to just sell another Statesman that we had for half decent money. Still wasn't that good considering what LS1s go for on their own. To buy a whole complete, perfectly good running driving car like this, for what we've got it up for, is kind of weird. And the interior in this thing's really nice. It's got good sound. It goes well enough. It's just the fact that there's a little bit of body imperfection, paint's not great, and it's got moderately high Ks. That's about all there is. But, like I said, for what complete LS1's are going for, it's pretty wild. It's so hard to get interest in it. But anyway, we've got new wheels on it. The new wheels that I bought for it, I had decided not to put them on it. We had decided to put them on the other one that we're already overcommitted to as well. But I figured it might be a good way just to generate a bit more interest in the car. If I can put the wheels on it, clean it up, get it looking a bit nicer. It's got the 2.5-inch X-Force on it now, it sounds the part at least. So if they just help to sell the car, well then we may as well put them on it, see if we can get more interest in the car. You know, if people want to haggle, I can always haggle with them without the wheels, but at least with the wheels on it and some new photos, it might actually just get more people interested, and we might be able to freaking move it. So that's what we're going to do. Just going to chuck them wheels on it. If it does go with them wheels, well then we'll find other wheels for the other one. But yeah, not too fussed either way. You can go with the wheels or without, but for now, at least it'll look cool. We get to drive around in a cool looking car for a while. And yeah, hopefully someone wants it. So we got it off these things, get our new D-speeds on it. I'll show you what we're working with. All right guys, so this is what we're working with. D-speed, I think these are the DS02s in Hyper Silver, 19-inch. Gonna look awesome. Whether they go on the Calais on the black, they're gonna look good on the black. And the VT that we've got that might end up with them if they don't end up on the Calais is like that real deep blue. So either car, they're gonna look great on. So, you know, someone wants to haggle, they don't want the wheels off the Calais, that's fine. We'll put these ones back on, but you know, if they want the wheels, sweet as. But yeah, it'll definitely look the part, which will just help sell it, I think. Hey buddy. All right, so we're going to get the wheels off, and it's a waste of time because there is a lock nut on the wheels and no socket in the fucking car. So don't do this, people. Don't ever be this person. Don't ever put lock nuts on the car and not leave the socket in the car somewhere. Particularly, this obviously not a super big deal because it's our car, but we've had people literally bring us cars to tune and stuff, or we've had to change wheels to tune on dyno and things like that, and lock nuts with no socket. Don't ever be that guy, ever. It's the worst freaking biggest pain in the ass. Anyway, Rex is out, see if we can find one locally. If not, we just have to wait. Lucky we weren't stranded on the side of the road somewhere with a flat. All right, managed to get one from a guy up the road that we deal with for quite a bit, so very lucky. But hey, we're about 2.5 hours now into this 10-minute job by the time we checked every freaking car on the property for a lock nut, so, or a socket. So yeah, this will end up being a 3-hour, 10-minute job. How good? How good, Bo?
Very good.
Alright guys, so after a bit of a wash, she looks freaking wicked. So exactly the look I was going for. Yeah, would have been perfect if it, you know, ended up working out and I was going to keep it and that. So don't get me wrong guys, I wasn't intending to flip it and make a heap of money or anything. But I don't obviously want to keep it because I want to keep the wagon, and I don't want to end up over-capitalized in it if I'm just going to sell it anyway. So it's not like I'm looking to make a huge profit or anything like that, and I didn't buy it to flip. But that's the situation we ended up in. So anyway, as you guys know, I can't drive for a while, so that's why I'm up and selling everything. AU's for sale, sold the Statesman, this is for sale. Everything's for sale except for the adventure wagon, which I'll sort out closer to when I can drive again after my seizure. But anyway, it looks freaking wicked. These wheels look schmick. If whoever buys it doesn't want the wheels, they go on the blue one, that's fine. And if this does sell with the wheels, likely we'll just buy literally this exact set of wheels again, ready to put on the blue one, judging off how good this looks. Big fan of Hyper Silver, really big fan of the color of these wheels. Yeah, look good on the black, and they'll look real good on that really deep blue as well. So I'm a big fan, happy days, looks awesome. I got some really good photos, cleaned up. The body definitely doesn't look as bad as it actually is. So yeah, hopefully just with the wheels and some nicer photos of it actually cleaned up like I talked about, hopefully that's just enough to generate a bit more interest in the car and actually move it along. So it really does look good. I really wish the body of this car wasn't so bad. And then it would be worth doing all that, because if the body was schmick, we probably would get the money we'd need once it's done. But I know that no one's gonna pay the money we need for the body than the condition it's in. So anyway, better off cutting our losses and just getting what we can. Righto guys, so continuing on this little video, I suppose, episode of just like my personal car updates. It's spread over quite a bit of time, but the Calais got sold. I did end up selling it. Those wheels definitely, I think, helped just sell it off. And the VE we've got here finally is registered. We've got plates called Bob Bob because that's what Flynn calls it, young fella. It's always been Bob Bob. They've all been Bob Bob. So that's the sound they make, Bob 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 Bob. So this is just a stock little VE, stock L98. Did have a muffler delete. We put some stock mufflers on it for now because we absolutely loathed the sound of open pipes and the stock L98. So we have been talking about camming this thing. I do have a little cam there that's surplus to our needs that we just need to use for something. It's a Crocam's 1270. It's what we use for like boosted forward drives. Nice little cam. Wouldn't be our first pick for something like this, but still a nice little cam nonetheless. Probably a little bit short on the exhaust duration for something like this. We've got a Black Ops exhaust that I bought for this while they were having a big sale. So like we've got an exhaust, we've got an OTR out in the back in the container. You know, we've got everything here. We could just chuck a little 1270 in it. So that may happen, but I mean, as a daily, it's friggin' wicked. It's got BC coilovers all around. I'm pretty sure the rear ones are cooked. I've got to investigate that today, but the rear knocks like crazy, and I think it's the coilovers, but cold air, good sound system, just a nice little daily. So at this stage it actually belongs to the old boy, but it's also just a car that we snapped up while it was pretty cheap. Dad's done a lot of work fixing it, tidying it up, changing doors over, getting tint sorted. So the old boy spent a lot of time getting it tidy. It was not this tidy when we got it. I hate the wheels. I'm not a fan. I would like to change them over if we end up keeping it. But anyway, we'll try and sell it, and we'll probably just cam it with the stuff we got because we've already got it. It's a little bit lifter rattly on startup, so probably a good idea just to get the lifters done. But yeah, so this is sort of the next little saga of personal cars. So the AU's still here. Still haven't been able to sell the AU, which is a bit of a pain, but anyway. So obviously I'm back driving now after my seizure, which is awesome. It's been 6 months, and I'm finally back driving, which is so freaking good. It's a good Christmas present. So as well as the VE, just as a daily, this is what I'm also getting around in. Bush, big Van Os. So some people that I knew were selling this thing real cheap a little while ago, and Dad snapped it up. Dad's been looking for a van for a long time. Dad had it set up just for camping, basically. Something he could just jump in and go camping. He had, there's a bit of a bed frame and stuff set up in the back of it, but it doesn't get used much, basically. The gearbox is noisy. The gearbox probably isn't long for this world. It was cheap. It was cheap. Dad's got like some batteries set up there. It's got a few cupboards, so I pulled all the stuff out of it, like all the camping setup out of it, and awesome because it's been blue plated for a child seat. So with this folded down, I can actually put a child seat in here, so it can be dad van, and then with the seat just folded up, you can fit bikes in. So you don't actually have to take the seat right out. The only thing that's a shame is it's not split, it's bench, which means I can't have child seat and a bike in here at the same time. But for one or the other, it's perfect. It's dad van, it's also bike van. So now that I'm back riding again, obviously when Dad bought this and set it up for camping, I wasn't riding back then. That was before my seizure, before I started riding again. Now that I'm riding again, moto van, and already got cupboards and stuff set up for all the fluids and everything. Like, it is just the perfect setup for dad van / moto van. So obviously the old boy can still chuck his bed frame and stuff in it and take it when he wants to go camping, but as long as he's not using it, it's moto van and dad van. So this is sort of the other thing that I'm getting around in. So couldn't have worked out more perfect, really, and I'm absolutely stoked. Hey, you've been noisy, mate. You've been making lots of noise. Oh, back under the light he goes. I have to fish him out. He's been making heaps of noise. But anyway, thinking about actually tuning this today. Got some work to do to it. I've got to service it and do some other things. Got to replace a map sensor. It keeps throwing a turbo overboost code and stuff like that. So going to try replacing a map sensor and cleaning the map out, try and stop the codes from popping up, and tune it, EGR, all the other stuff that you like to do. But yeah, this thing's freaking wicked. Anyway, that's the latest little update clip for this video. It's probably going to span quite a while, but yeah, I'd still like to sell the AU. The VE will be for sale. No plans to sell this. To be honest, I'd rather keep that and sell everything else, just because of how well that suits for me at the moment with how much riding I'm doing, and the fact that I can still put Flynn in it. So that's freaking perfect. It's a little diesel VW as well, Volkswagen diesel, really good on fuel. It goes quite well. I think it's going to go really well after we tune it, if we tune it today. So yeah, great little car, great little thing. And I'm sure that maybe one of these days I'll actually get some time to finish lionfish. I'd really like to finish that off. But yeah, I don't know. Just so little time, guys. So much work, so little time. All right, so we'll have a quick look, see where this knock is coming from. I've got a feeling it's just going to be this coilovers knocking. It's what I think it sounds and feels like, which will be a pain, but what do you do? It is what it is. We'll check the rear subframe bushes, rear diff bushes, all that sort of thing. See what we can find. All right, guys, so we figured it out. It's definitely the the strut top on the driver's side rear on the coilover. Almost looks like whoever put the coilovers didn't put the base washer in that side. Either that or the base washer's been damaged or something, and it looks like it's basically the coilover without the base washer is just punched through the rubber bush. I still don't reckon that those subframe bushes are quite right, but we've got the wagon here we've got to change the wheels over on, so when we put that on the hoist we'll double check, see if there is meant to be that much play in the subframe bushes, but it definitely appears like it's the actual strut top that's the problem. So I've ordered one. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be here until after Christmas, which is a shame, but until then we're just going to have to deal with it, but that's okay, it is what it is. But you know, once that's fixed, hopefully we're pretty right. Hopefully that's all good. So anyway, put that on the back burner until that gets here. Next thing, we're gonna do a service, try and sort some stuff out with the big race van, and give it a tune up. Yeah, the race van. All right, full MAF sensor cleanup with the MAF cleaner from Newlon. Yeah, new MAP sensor. Fresh oil filter, new fuel filter going in, which looks like has not been changed in a very long time, so that's going to be nice. Sure, it's going to love that. We got some more of this easy shift in the gearbox, and yeah, we'll tune it, change the tune parameters for boost, overboost, boost target. Hopefully stops throwing this code, stops going into limp mode, because after that, big Vanos should be the goods. And yeah, race van, dad van, camp van, the van. Yeah, the frickin' boys. Us. Big Vanos on the rollers. Yee-hee. So tuning front wheel drive cars is always so sketchy. And the problem is because the steer wheels are the wheels that drive. So you've got a dyno on the wheels that also steer. And on your dyno, because your rollers are moving that fast, if you get a bit off axis on your steer wheels and start driving one way, it's like instant, straight off the side. So that's why you've got to strap them crossways. It's super sketchy. Even if they're low power like this, just dynoing any front wheel drive car is always just sketchy as hell. So, sketchy, it's a bit scary. Bit of a tight butthole, tight pucker. All right, guys, race van, all sorted. 110 horsepower from 88. How good? That's a significant increase. Torque and power all over the board. Doesn't seem like much because we're dealing with low horsepower numbers, right? From 88 to 109 or 110 essentially, is like Rex was saying, 24%. Which is significant. That is quite a significant increase in power and torque. You know, like I said, it doesn't seem like much because it's low numbers, but it's the same as going from 300 horsepower to 400 horsepower nearly. So like it's a big jump. So go for a rip, see how she goes. And through the whole dyno session, didn't throw any more codes as far as that map sensor goes. So I think it was just that Cook sensor, which is a good sign. So go for a rip up the street and see how lightning fast she is now. Race van. Then we decided to make a race van. It's even officialized. Obligatory onsong performance. Tuned by. We're here to party in the race van. Oh yeah, she cooks along now. Yee-hoo! We racing to races. To go racing in the race van. Awesome, so good. And so far, no limp mode, no codes, no nothing. So I think we're pretty well sorted. Big Vanos is ready for action. I just got to call Volkswagen tomorrow and try and get the stereo locked. It's sort of like in that weird locked mode, and I don't know what the code is. So we'll call them tomorrow and try and get that sorted. But apart from that, we're all happy days. And yeah, she hooks along. It's good. Hey Rex. She hooks. She goes.
Right, yeah.
Ready?
That's 40, 60, third gear, and then we're stopping at the speed limit. Okay. Yeah!
Alright guys, I honestly cannot explain how freaking cool it is to have a van set up and be able to drive again. And you know, just being able to drive again after so long not being able to drive, for one, but for two, after all these years riding motorcycles and always wanting a van set up through all my childhood racing and stuff, and now having a van set up is just, I can't explain. Also, this thing, since tuning, absolute rocket ship. Thing goes freaking awesome. It's so good. Anyway, bought my bike home because I'm going to get one more ride in tomorrow morning before Christmas, just on my own. So I thought I'd chuck it in the van and bring it home because that's how freaking easy it is to do. Righto guys, so I'm finally getting around to editing a lot of this old footage, and I just thought I'd give you a final update on this video before I sign it off. Before I sign it off where it was. So as you just saw, actually that last clip was filmed before Christmas, so that whole video was filmed over probably 6 months last year. So the Calais got sold, as I explained. I eventually sold the AU. And the adventure, which I never showed in the video, but I talked about, which I planned to keep and do as my daily, which I was really excited about. I ended up having to sell that as well. Ultimately, the van suited me better. I didn't need all the cars and regos, and I sort of just needed the cash at the time. So I let the adventure go and kept the van because it suited me better. Literally like 2 weeks after that, Rex, a cheap bike for one of the kids, popped up in New South Wales. Rex went to go get it in the van. So I'd been driving the van around for like over 6 months by this point. Rex takes it, borrows it for one day to go down to New South Wales to pick up this bike. Literally gets to the end of the street and the gearbox explodes. So the van's cooked, it's out of action. Yeah, just bad luck. Although it's not as, it was pretty good luck that it happened at the end of the road and not when he'd already gotten down to New South Wales, because then that little bike would have been very expensive. But anyway, regardless, the van's out of action, which sucks because it was such a good daily. It suited me so well. We're trying to find another gearbox, but unfortunately it's a pretty common issue with those things that the gearboxes fail. So everyone that I've found that is for wrecking, whether it's a van or a caddy, most of them all have a blown gearbox. It seems to be the most common issue with them. So it's really hard to find a gearbox. Not only that, for how much the van cost us, to think about the amount we'd have to pay for a new gearbox and then the time we'd have to put in to actually change it at the moment, it almost hardly seems worth it, even if we could find one. But regardless, the van was so handy. If we found one, I'd do it. So yeah, I'm getting around in the VE, Bob. Still got the VE, but yeah, everything else pretty much got sold off, and unfortunately the van is cooked. So that's that. That's the little update. So I haven't actually really owned a car in nearly 12 months. That's mine. I've just been driving around in everyone else's cars because we don't need to keep accumulating cars and regos, so that's how it's been. But anyway, I'll make another one this year if I get back into doing some other stuff, but that's a little update on where we're at with all the personal cars and just a heap of clips that I wanted to throw together to show you guys. So thanks for watching as always. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out. See you. Bye.